What is going on, YouTube? ModzvilleUSA here. Messy Deskville USA, actually. And today we're back with another video. As you can see, I've got this top loader NES here. As far as I know, it doesn't work. All I've been told is it's been tested with RF, and it's was not displaying any video. So what I'm going to try to do is composite mod it. So what I have here is a composite mod board from Console 5, made by, what is their name, Cathouse Games. I got the Build It Yourself edition, 1000 Mudkips edition. So we're going to go to the microscope for that guy. It comes with a little ribbon cable here. Very nice. So we'll use that to hook everything up. And we also have, what do we got? We got an NES top loader cap kit. It's literally about 5 capacitors. We might as well just go on in there and swap them all. I don't even have an RF board to test with. So we're just going to install the AV kit and hope for the best. I've got a parts Famicom here. So if it's like a bad CPU or PPU, we can maybe swap them out, but I'll likely look into how to test the various chips appropriately before we just start swapping things around. Eventually, I would like to, if I work on more of these, I'll probably do what Game Tech US did back in the day with his old videos. He had a top loader where all the chips were removed and socketed to swap in. It was like a test station. So hopefully, get something like that going. Maybe, obviously, I don't want to these are pretty expensive now, so I could probably get something like that going with a just a regular Famicom, since those are dirt cheap. But yeah, we're gonna give this a go. So let's start by, oh, and one other thing. We also got this from eBay. Oh, it comes with a little LED, nice. And what this is a 3D printed multi-out. Now, I'm not a fan of the what's it called? You'll see 2 different variants of these. You'll see the 3 RCA, and you'll see the multi-out one. And if we're going in here, I figure we might as well just install the multi-out. Much more common. And if we ever wanted to upgrade this to, say, NES RGB, all we got to do is, well, we'll have to do quite a bit, but at least we'll already have the multi-out mounted in there, and we don't need to throw away the generic RCA one. So if you're going to do this, just go for the multi-out, because it's upgradable and common format. I think it's the better choice, hands down. So yeah, let's start by building this composite board, and then we'll get into the NES stuff. So I'm gonna swap on over to the microscope for some little surface mount soldering. now that I got this guy built, I think it's time we go ahead and crack this guy open. So we need a game bit driver. This is the first time I've worked on one of these guys before. Looks like just 2 more screws. Now the annoying thing that I've found with this is, so far, is there's no written guide that came along with this. It's strictly up 4 screws. It's strictly links to a YouTube video, which is a live stream. That's just like unedited to music kind of a deal. Somebody doing it, there's no structure to it really. Which could be better. Hopefully this will at least be a more structured guide as to what the hell's going on. That is if I can figure it out.
Okay, so now the first thing we gotta do is pull this guy. We've got this heatsink here, so we should probably start there.
Okay, and 1 more screw in here, connecting this, I guess, voltage regulator to the heatsink. Okay, and so from what I've gathered, we're going to need to do some desoldering here. So I'm going to pre-tin this guy. I've got my Hakko gun, which is definitely going to be beneficial for working on NES consoles. But you can get by with desoldering pump or wick if you know how to use either or. I'm going to be using my Hakko Desoldering Gun. And those aren't cheap. I got mine on Amazon for about $250 or something. But if you do a lot of work like this, it'll pay for itself. Okay, so everything I pre-tinned is something I'm going to desolder. Two, three, 4, 5. Now these are big, fatty ground planes here. Yeah, these are pretty fat pins. So for these 3, the gun should be fine. Okay, I think I got the strat here. So my RF modulator is totally free, but getting it out is proving to be a little troublesome. So what I want to do, I'm going to come in here, cut these pins. I believe it's just not. Whoa, that went flying. It's just not making the clearance it needs. Let's give that a shot. Try the same with these guys too. Should help the whole situation. Okay. We should just be able to wiggle this out. Pulling it from the back here, so... it's not coming out. So here's... let's just make our lives a little bit easier here. It's being a pain in the ass, so... we do need to remove the AC or DC jack, whichever it is on this guy. So I'm adding a bit of solder instead of having to desolder it. I've got my knife tip. Should be able to heat up both pads here at the same time. Okay, yeah, easy. Nice and easy. So we got that guy, the RF. It was locked in pretty good up there. So that's that. The RF is out. Now we know for the future. Desolder these 3 pins the best you can. They come in here. These guys, instead of wasting all that time that I did trying to desolder it as I did, you might want to clean it, desolder it a bit with the braid, but you can just leverage it out a little bit with your hand. I use the tweezers and kind of pried it up like that. Just make sure to get these 3 pins desoldered before you go ahead and do that. So yeah, I think the tricky part's over, dude. Let's carry on. Okay, well, since we're in here, these capacitors are about, I don't know, 30 years old. It's probably in our best interest to give them a little swap. So start with these 2. There's, I think, 5. So it's not that bad. And it's not going to hurt nothing. Might as well give it a go. Uno, right? Uno and dos. Okay, so off camera, I went ahead and attached the DC connector as well as this 3D printed doodad. It's good to put put the DC connector through the 3D printed back plate here while you line it up, because it doesn't sit completely flush in here. Kind of takes a bit of finessing, so just make sure everything's lined up when you connect it. You just solder the two tabs in place and you're good. Now what we're going to need to do is remove pin 21 of this chip right here. I believe that's the PPU. Yep, the PPU, and we pull audio from the CPU here. Now, this is kind of take two. I was looking at a board that was backwards, and I removed this one, and yeah, I did it all backwards. So that footage, we'll cut that out. So we're gonna lift this pin here, top right. Make sure your controller connectors in the top left. So let's see here. It's this guy right here. So we're gonna go ahead and tin this up. And then we're gonna come on in a desoldering gun. Whoop. This is being a pain in the ass, so I'm gonna cut a corner here and give it a little clip. Okay, the pin is lifted up. I'm gonna go ahead and tin it. Okay. So pin 21 of the PPU is both. I had to clip it. I didn't have to clip it, but because it was already soldered on the top, it was a pain in the ass. So I clipped it. That's connected, and it's not connected to the board. If you don't disconnect it, you're gonna get some jail bars from what I hear. So just, you gotta disconnect that pin. Got a wire soldered to it. That is our composite video. So next, let's deal with the audio. Now, as you can see, this pin was already lifted and then reseated, not bent back perfectly from when I had the board backwards. So what we got here is, this is audio left, and this is audio right. Okay, I feel good about these joints. They're nice and secure. They're not going anywhere. Nothing is frayed or shorting out. Seems good. Let's pull this back. And I'm going to route my cables something like this. Let's do a bend here. Get the nice fold going. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now one more we should get. Now for 5 volts, we're going to be soldering to R1 here. Top left. Tin it up again. All right. Very nice. Okay, so I've got the LED here. I'm just going to go ahead and solder this up. And this is the back side of the board. Top left by the power switch itself. So we got ground goes here, and power goes to this top left. So let's do that. So black. And red. Okay, easy. Okay, so I've gone ahead and pulled this guy off the board since there's nothing really keeping it fully connected. And I'm just kind of guessing from how these are labeled that we've got RGB ground here. This would be for Ness RGB kits. I'm assuming CS is composite sync. Be ground. And then on this side we got CV, 5 volts, AL, AR. So I believe we've got composite video for CV, 5 volt. AL, it's got to be audio left. AR is audio right. I'm assuming. Don't hold that as gospel, but that's what makes sense to me. 10 up, 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe we connect a ground. So 10 up one of those. And let's check the output on this guy. So we've got, these are the ins. Pin 21 in, pin 21 out. Okay. So how does this go? We've got YRW. W's got to be white, so this is red and white. So right and left. Y, I assume, is video, right? ground, pin 21 out. So let me look this up, see how this is going to go. Okay, got it. So pin 21 out is optional, and it's connected to the bottom pin where we lifted pin 21, and that's only if we want to keep the option for RF, which no thank you. We are good. We don't need it. Y is for video. R is for right. W is white, which is for left. And then ground. So it's the input, this is the output. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to wire this guy up. So we want composite video, audio left, audio right, and ground. Okay, so here we are. We've got black for ground. We've got green for composite video, blue for audio left, red for audio right. I want to go ahead and reattach this to the console and get our wires situated. Alright, now I want to reassemble, solder up the composite board, and give it a test. We're still going to need to mount the LED. I want to see what I'm working with here, because as far as I know, this console doesn't work. It either had a bad RF signal, or could be one of the chips are bad on it. But I don't even have a setup for testing RF. That's just what I was told. So I want to see if composite is indeed functioning. Okay, dudes. So I got everything put back together. Got the heatsink back on. The wires routed in a nice way. Got a nice little fold up here. So we've got the left, right composite video, ground coming from that guy up there. And then down here we got left, right, 5 volts, right? Yeah, 5 volts right here, coming from our resistor 1. This is the pin 21 in, so composite video, coming straight from the board. And ground, I just grounded it to this right here with some spare wire. And that's everything. So now's the time where I'm going to plug it in, give it a test. Hope nothing explodes, and if we're good, then we're going to be drilling a hole in the top shell for the LED. Okay, so I've got this tested. Everything's working perfectly fine. And then I went ahead and just mounted the LED right here. Had to pop out the power switch. I start with my smallest drill bit. It's kind of got like a little bump here. In the center of the bump, smallest drill bit, and then I worked all the way up to 1/8. That ended up being the right size for me to fit the LED through the hole. Glued it in. Not the cleanest hot glue job, but you know, hot glue's kind of always a little dirty, no matter how you shake it. Try to avoid using it unless it's a situation that it's pretty mandatory, like this one. So yeah, everything's working really good. I'm gonna seal this guy up, and we'll head on over to the TV. Just real quick, in my initial footage, I forgot to mount the new AV port, so just make sure you screw it in before assembling everything. That is all. Carry on. Okay, console's reassembled. Just real quick, want to show you the brand new multi-out port here. Now there's nicer designs out there for these that you can get, but for the price, I think this is just fine as for 3D printed build quality goes. So yeah, here we go. slightly modernized NES top loader. Let's go test it out. Alright, so the top loader is complete. Got Castlevania in there to test out. Check out the Multiout. Very nice. Well, this gray could be a better match, but all in all, I think it's fine. So let's power it up, see what's going on. You can see we got a nice little LED mod in there. Would you look at that? No jail bars, no BS. It's looking very nice. Yeah, that is a beautiful image there on the CRT. And stereo's for sure working. Everything's hard pan. We got the melodies only coming out of the left there. I don't know if you can hear it. Snare sounds coming out of the right. Controller's working just fine. Can't really play this one-handed, but I'll give it a shot. Yeah, some pretty hardcore panning. Like bass sounds coming out of the right speaker. Melodies coming out of the left. I think it's neat, psychedelic. It's like an old, it's like Yellow Submarine or something. Hell yeah. That looks great. Screw RF, dude. Well, anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed it. I'm about to die. Dislike if you hated it. And see you guys on the next one. ModzvilleUSA, signing out.
Don't let us back and say what to do. ModzvilleUSA.